All right, welcome back to the Commanders Declassified podcast, your source for the ultimate fan perspective in all things Washington Commanders. I am pulling hosting duties tonight. My name is Eric. LE is slashing through the jungles of the Punjab as we speak, so he couldn't quite make it back here. They don't have good Wi-Fi out there in the Punjab. Mike looks like he's in witness protection tonight, but he's here with us. What's going on there, Mike?
Not much, man. I'm cool. I'm chilling. Just ready to talk some ball.
You're backlit tonight. That's what it is. All right. So we've got a lot going on, obviously, in the Commanders offseason. There's always something to talk about with the NFL. We all know that at this point. We've kind of moved into, free agency, although it's only been going on for a week, is basically over at this point. There's nothing but like scrap heaps. Any impressions from the first week of free agency that anybody left over out there, or anything that you're really happy about that we didn't get to last week?
Nah. I think it's been, I wouldn't say expected, kind of frugal a little bit, but I can't really knock the plan at hand, and we'll talk about why a little later.
Yeah, we've got some things to get into as far as some things that we don't understand, maybe that there might be a reason why we're not working in a front office, and the people that are working in a front office. But we'll get to that. But we're rapidly actually moving into no, we'll get to that actually later. Based on the moves that we've done thus far, the Washington Commanders have made thus far, what to this point do you think is still the biggest hole in the roster, and how do you think they can and should fix it?
I honestly think it's passing defense overall. I'm talking pass coverage and pass rush. I'm just not feeling what we have on the roster right now as a whole. Maybe individually they may be okay, but as a unit, man, right now it's looking kind of thin. We had similar thoughts last year, and at times it looked like the defense was good, but that was kind of against inferior opponents. I felt like when quality teams needed to get a point or a first down on us, they were getting it or getting the pass interference. And you think about the top players on the defense, money-wise, you think Deron Payne, Lattimore, and I can't remember who else was out there that I was talking about, but those two players, I feel like they need to step their game up. If those two can step their game up, I feel like it'll elevate the entire defense as a whole, especially when it comes to rushing the passer and playing pass defense. If you're not getting the best out of your highest paid interior player or defensive lineman, and you're not getting the best out of your highest played corner, what do you expect? So that's, I feel like, the biggest hole in how they'll address it. The only thing left is the draft. But then, like LE said last week, you're dependent on a rookie to produce at a premium position in the NFL, or two premium positions at corner and edge. And I just don't think that's a good recipe for success, in my opinion.
Do you have a remedy for that before the draft?
Who's left? Von Miller? Stephen Gilmore? Like, you could bring them in, but at their age, I don't know. And I can't think of any other players. I heard another edge is on the block, Travon Walker from the Jaguars. If you could bring him in, he's been kind of, well, I wouldn't say inconsistent. He's actually been progressing throughout his career based on the stats. His sack total has been increasing every year. I believe last year was his third season. And I don't know why the Jaguars are looking to trade him, but there are murmurs out there, nothing official or anything. Or they can trade for Hendrickson. The Bengals, they gave Chase what he wanted. He wanted to be the highest paid non-quarterback, and he is at $40.01 million. And they paid Higgins too. So do they have enough money left to pay Hendrickson? I don't think so. You think that they're trading for him. I'm still iffy about it, but that's the remedy. And as far as cornerbacks, there was one that was cut earlier today. I can't remember who it was. I really wish I could remember his name. My apologies for that. But there are some decent corners out there. And maybe I'm too hard on what they have right now because I'm looking at tape of Joseph and Summerstill is still there. But like I said, Lattimore is the key. If he can be healthy, if he could be less grabby, then hey, maybe they have something on their hands. But from what we seen last year, I don't know, bro.
Yeah. The other guy I think you were talking about was Kinlaw. That was the other highest paid guy in the text chat. So yeah, you can talk me into it, but he's
Yes.
another one that needs to come through because that's a lot of money for him. He's
Yes.
never really produced. So I feel you on that. I see what they're doing on the defensive line, um, and I don't think they're done there. But I definitely they look at Philadelphia and what it's going to take to match up with Philadelphia. And I'm gonna catch hate if there's any Eagles fans listening to this because you know they're always listening. They got radar about anybody who says anything negative about their baby. But let's be honest, you don't need a dominant pass rush. That's not going to beat the Eagles. You need a stout defensive line that plays with discipline, that can form a disciplined pocket and contain the run first, contain the threat of the quarterback running, and keep him in the pocket. So that's what you need to beat Philly, and that's what they're building. To me, it seems like they're just getting some big corn-fed fellas, and they're going to stack them up against that tush push nonsense and just go at it. They're really, really, really concerned about stopping the run this year, and that's what I see. And you may end up seeing, from what it looks like right now, maybe a little bit of pass rush by committee. You might not have a 14, 15 sack guy, but you might have 5, 6 sack guys, right? So that may be what they're going for. I still think they're going to address it. The Trey Hendrickson thing, like I joke around about that a lot in the chat. I'm trolling a little bit. I would love to see them trade for Hendrickson now that they've got all those run stuffers. They just can get a dude who can pin his ear back and go after the quarterback. And to be able to do that, to get because Luvu was pretty good at rushing the quarterback last year, but without blitzing, it'd be great to be able to do that. Hendrickson can obviously give you that. I don't know that they are going to. They've already given up so many draft picks in the next 2 years. I don't know that they're gonna want to. You can really do that without hurting your team because again, I can't stress this enough. We whiffed on 4 consecutive drafts from 20 to 24, so we need to or 20 to 23. We no longer want to do that. So we don't have a lot in the cupboard, so we can't keep giving up draft picks the way we have been. But I would love to see Trey Henderson here. I think he would be a great fit. I just don't think I don't think we can make it happen. But I'm gonna keep trolling and pretend like he is. To me, the biggest weakness, though, I think corner is a huge weakness. I am of the opinion that Marshawn Lattimore can have a bounce back year. Again, he was injured when he came in. He had to learn a new defense on the fly. He wasn't getting reps in practice to be able to learn. That's a tough situation. He's been good enough throughout his career that I think he can still be okay as the top corner. I would love to see them add somebody else. One guy who I think is still out there, Jeff Okuda, which I don't think is a savior by
Nah,
any
he
stretch.
just signed with
Oh, he did?
somebody
Okay,
to
yeah.
this afternoon
Well,
for
never
a
mind.
1 year
Yeah,
deal.
he was a guy that with the pedigree that maybe you could have brought in. But yeah, okay. So
I
he
didn't
just
even
signed
know
with
he was
somebody.
available.
Yeah, he was first round pick a couple of years ago for Detroit. Never, it's never really worked out. He's had some injuries, but yeah. Anyway, he's not going to be here, so never mind. Yeah, your guy Gilmore. I know you kind of picked him in your free agent wish list earlier on. I wouldn't hate that signing. It seems like it might be on par with some of the other moves that they've made, signing some older guys. Signing.
I
Go
feel
ahead.
like Gilmore. I'm sorry. I feel like Gilmore and a rookie. It's a trade off. Like you might get the better athleticism from a rookie because he's younger, more explosive, or whatever. But with Gilmore, with you lacking athleticism, you gain in um, knowledge, wisdom, pedigree, and yeah, like I feel like that's the best 2 routes they can go right now when it comes to corner, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think Kendall Fuller is still out there. So you can go back to that well, bring him back for a third time. Not the worst, wouldn't be the worst move. Wouldn't be the best either, but you're kind of getting slim pickings at this point. Yeah, Okuda was a guy that I did like. But it is what it is. You're gonna do it. I think we're gonna end up seeing a draft, but I think corner more so. Corner concerns me right now. That number 2 corner spot concerns me right now more than the overall passing defense.
I will say this. I didn't say his name earlier because I was gonna mess it up, but I'm still gonna mess him up. Is it Jonathan Joseph, the cornerback? I don't think that's it. I think that's the old cornerback from the
Yeah,
Bengals.
he was a Bengals corner. Yeah,
I'm trying to. I'm so sorry, y'all. I gotta. And it's crazy because I was looking at YouTube highlights of him this morning, and I really, really forgot his name. I'm stalling for time right now. Give me a second. I can't find it, but
You talk about
um,
Chidobe Awuzie?
no,
No.
we signed him. That's the former Patriots cornerback, and
Oh,
somebody is
yeah,
screaming at me right
I
now.
know. Yeah, I was actually trying to think of his name a few minutes ago as well. We're super prepared on this podcast. This is why our fans keep coming back. But yeah,
But I'll just go to the ESPN page to find it. I was trying
yeah,
to
that's the
find
way
it
to
in my
go.
notes, and it's not even
I
coming
do
up.
like that. I do like that signing. He's again one of those guys. Little on the smaller side is my only concern, but he's put in a lot. He's been really good in the NFL for a long time. There hasn't, he's kind of switched up. He wasn't, I don't think, a full time starter last year.
Jonathan Jones.
Jonathan
It was
Jones. Yeah,
I was so close. Jonathan Joe. Just, but anyway, I supremely digress. Jonathan Joseph. Um, I see, just like you see what they're trying to do on the defensive line, I do see what they're trying to do on the secondary. They're bringing in some very physical players, man.
yeah,
With Will Harris, I got his name right this week. I didn't say Walt Harris, but with Will Harris and Jonathan Jones, not Joseph. I'm so old, bro. They're physical. Like that's the one thing you see on those highlights that on their tape or whatever. They can tackle. They're bringing the heat. They flying like missiles out there. You add those two with Luvu and Wagner, and all of a sudden you got 4 players screaming at you. I can't help but to reference this play again. The first play of the NFC Championship game on defense, the Barkley touchdown. I feel like if you add those 2 players on those plays and subtract the other 2 corners, rather it was St. Juice or whoever, and Will Harris with Chen, who missed the tackle on the play, by the way, maybe he doesn't score. Maybe he only gets 40 yards instead of the whole 60 or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I understand the physicality that they're trying to bring to the
yeah,
secondary and the girth pause on the defensive line that they're bringing in. They're
yeah.
not bringing in the Fowlers. They're bringing in the Kinlaws. They want the stocky, strong rushers or whatever. It's going to come with a cost. Like you're going to lose explosiveness. You're going to lose quickness, but maybe that's what they want. Maybe they really are trying to recreate some sort of modern Legion of Boom.
Yeah, maybe Dietrich Wise instead of Dante Fowler. Maybe he doesn't fall down and take out 2 players on that on that run.
I'm
So
telling
yeah,
you.
yeah. So we'll see. It remains to be seen. Again, it's a long off season. Still got the draft coming up. Speaking of the draft, and we've just discussed holes on the defense. Who are some players that you think that we have to come away with? Washington, Adam Peters would be a fool not to take these players. Who are some guys you got your eyes on for that? And we can just alternate. We can go one at a time if you want.
Your last point. I'm not going to say he's a fool for not
We
taking them. You're
got to be
with
dramatic
Cowboys,
here. We
bro.
got to be dramatic.
But I'm gonna go backwards. I'm gonna start from the bottom up. Um, since he's not here, I'm going to throw this player out along with my third player. Ali brought this receiver up to me, Torrey Horton, Colorado State wide receiver. Ali said he reminds him of Diggs, Stephon Diggs. So I looked at his highlights or whatever, and like he's nice. He's very shifty. He runs some good routes. I don't know why he's projected as low as he is, but I'm not a scout or whatever, so without I can't tell you that. But my favorite in the mid rounds, talking 4th round or later, is Maryland wide receiver Kevin Prather. I just feel like he
Yep.
fits perfectly with Debo and McLaurin as far as having versatility with your trio of wide receivers. He's not super fast, but he's fast enough where he can beat man coverage one-on-one. And when you have Debo, Samuel, and McLaurin in your same wide receiver trio, you're going to get man coverage one-on-one. And I feel like he can take strong advantage of that. Low key, he reminds me of a Keenan Allen type. Like, I'm gonna just keep it a buck. That's what I'm saying when I look at him. So, Kevin
Yeah.
Prather, Torrey Horton, mid-round receivers,
So
Commanders classified approved.
Prather, to me, more of a Tyler Lockett than a Keenan Allen, but yeah, I get it. Which, by the way, Tyler Lockett's still a free agent. Just pick up your phone, my friend. Pick up your phone, Adam Peters. Tyler Lockett is a free agent. Yeah, that's not a bad call. Looking at my guys, I'm thinking edge. I don't know that any of the, some of these edges that are going to be obviously long gone by the time Washington picks. I don't see any scenario where Washington picks, moves up in the draft at all. So you got to start thinking about guys that are going to be in that second round range. And to me, it's JT Tuimoloau. I'm going to butcher that name out of Ohio State. You know, we went to the Ohio State edge a couple of years ago, and it didn't, end up being great for us. But we're not picking at number 2 anymore. We're picking at number 29 or somewhere in the early to mid second round. And I think JTT, he's a guy that can do some damage. I think he'll be a very good pro again. Might be kind of in the mold of the guys that we picked up, but he's a younger version of those. So, I don't know if he's ever going to be a 15 sack guy, but he's going to be a great edge setter and get to the quarterback enough to keep himself in the NFL for a long time. So I think that's an all right pick for us.
Like that. I'll stick with edge and go with Ashton Gillette or Gillette. It's spelled like Gillette the razor, but it's an O instead of an I. Whatever. Anyway, he's an edge player from Louisville, and I just like his motor, man. It seems like he's the mode that they've been bringing in. He may not be a first round pick, but I'll take him in the second or third round for sure. And if they are going to go by this pass rush by committee approach for the defensive line this year, I feel like that's a nice rotation piece to throw in, and you might get something cooking.
Okay. I am not mad at all. Now, my number 2 guy here, you may have to pick between him and JTT at this pick because I don't know that he's going to last too long, but I've been saying it. I said it in our last episode, what we need to do a couple of weeks ago. Need a dynamic running back, and Omarion Hampton is right in that range of where we're going to be picking. So if we slide back a little bit, if we're able to do that, or if they just want to pull the trigger at 29, you could do a lot worse than Omarion Hampton. I don't think he's going to go into the first round. I think this running back craze is a little bit exaggerated. I don't think guys are going to be, I don't think there's going to be like 3 or 4 running backs going in the first round. Omarion Hampton could be that second guy that gets into the late first or falls into the early second, maybe even the mid second if you move back a little bit. But he's a do it all back out of North Carolina. He's explosive. He catches the ball. Really good in the open field, can run you over. If you can come away with Omarion Hampton, I'm going to be a happy guy.
All right. Coincidentally, my number 1 is running back. And second round would be perfect for this player. I just don't know if he's going to last to Washington's second round pick. But Caleb Johnson, man, running back from Iowa, he is a smooth runner, man. It's like when he sees an opening, it's his. He takes it and he's gone. And he's not really necessarily like, it doesn't, I dare say that the comparison, it just came to my mind, but it kind of looks like Chris Johnson. Not as fast, but the effortless with the motion. Like it's a stride. Like it's a very fast stride. But I feel like his vision on top of that, he catches the ball pretty well. And I don't know, man. I just got a thing for Iowa. I feel like name me a bus from Iowa. You can't. And Washington has done well going there for running backs. Liddell Betts, anyone? I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
there you go. No, okay. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going to hate on anybody. Iowa cranks out offensive linemen and tight ends, and the running backs come out of there too. They do all right in the NFL. So yeah, I'm not going to be mad at you for going to the Big Ten in general and Iowa specifically. Yeah. So my last guy, I still think that a true number 2 wide receiver would benefit. I mean, not even displace Debo Samuel, but would benefit Debo Samuel to put him just in that weapon role where he can really thrive. Not have to worry about separation. And I think a guy that might be there in the mid rounds that I really like, Jalen Royals out of Utah, 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. So he's like right in that size. He's he's an effective blocker. Ran a 4.40, a little bit of an injury, 1.5 split. So he's explosive getting off the ball. And he's got great hands. He can kind of do it all. He can separate. I think he's got the makings of a number 2 receiver written all over him. Jalen Royals out of Utah. That's a guy that I really like in the mid rounds.
I gotta check him out. The name sounds familiar,
I do love
but
wide
I
receivers who
haven't looked
block,
at him.
and I think this coaching staff and front office does too, and he fits the bill. So yeah, I like that a lot.
Okay, I gotta check him out.
So speaking of this front office, final question tonight: what, if anything, have you learned about Adam Peters this offseason?
I've learned that he does not give one iota what we, the fans, the media, anybody thinks. He's gonna execute his plan. He's gonna go after players that he wants, or maybe he does go after the players that we want, just not at the price we would pay him. But I learned that the saying is still true. You gotta trust this man. He's won everywhere he's been. And year 1, he took the team to the NFC Championship. So who are we? Like it's getting really cliche to say it now, but we are not general managers in the NFL. He is, and he's been doing this for decades. Maybe not as a leading role, but he's been involved with successful teams for decades. And now he has again himself led a team to the conference championship. So I learned that he's going to do what he's going to do, and it's probably going to work out at the end of the day.
Yeah, that was actually my answer too. Is that dude just doesn't care about what we think, and nor should he, because he clearly has the clout to get things done in the NFL. And I also think he and Dan Quinn are. They said it a lot last year, but those guys are in lockstep. Like they are on the same page. They know exactly what they want to do, and they're working really well together. And again, the one thing I love about the front office is when there's no leaks coming out, things are going smoothly when stuff's not just like slipping out here and there. And that's a really wonderful thing it's great to have news and updates and all that kind of stuff. But Adam Peters says nothing in his interviews, and nothing slips out of his front office. He just continues to get the job done. So everybody, I try to avoid the online communities. And the
Good
complainers,
job.
and but I'm still hearing it, and people are just like kind of freaking out about what the team looks like and what it's going to do. We're going to stink. Guy had it in our comments last week, like we're going to stink next year. Look, man, it's March, and if we put this team on the field in September, maybe I'll be a little bit worried, but the team's going to look different when the season starts. We don't play a meaningful game for 6 months. So let's just take a chill pill and realize that this group got us farther than we've been in many of your lifetimes last year, in only a year of being here. So let's just chill out with the negative Nancy talk. Enjoy not being a joke of a franchise, and let's move forward and look forward to the season. And if things go south during the season, complain away. But right now, look, this team had so much success last year. Why are we even worried about them looking bad next year? There's this front office, this coaching staff has done nothing to make us think that we're going to fall off next year. So we'll play it by ear, but I'm not stressing at all about what this team looks like right now or what I think it's going to look like then. We'll just wait and see, because we're looking good. Thoughts?
No, it's been a productive off season so far. There was this movie that I saw like that almost 10 years ago, The Intern. I think it had Robert De Niro and
Okay.
can't remember her name. But when I watched it, I said it was a good movie because it was like just a professional movie. Like you could tell that someone in Hollywood that knew what they were doing produced this movie. The same person or another person that was a professional Hollywood person directed this movie. You had two stars, Robert De Niro and Hathaway, that's her name. Two professional actors. It wasn't anything spectacular. Even the supporting character, I wish I could remember his name. He destroyed this world a professional manner. It was just a very well-rounded professional movie. And I feel like that's what's happening in the off season. You just have Adam Peters in his role doing Adam Peters things. And if it seemed like that, I'm on the man meet or whatever, hey, whatever. I'm married, so it is what it is. Like, I'm just telling y'all how I see it. The man has a plan and he's executing it. Me and E just told y'all they're beefing up the defensive line. They're beefing up the offensive line. They're adding physicality to the secondary. Like he saw the season and was like, oh, that's what we need. We have the quarterback. We have a couple of weapons already. Let's strengthen up this team. Let's literally strengthen up the team. And so far, so good. Phase one complete, like my headline said.
That movie review, it's the exact same thing I said about Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So I feel you on that. All right, I think that's about our time. If you are still listening to this nonsense, please like and subscribe and share. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, all the good ones. You can always see us on YouTube if you can't get enough of these mugs. Who can blame you? And yeah, I think that's about it. I will try to do better next week. Mike will definitely bring it next week as he always does. And hopefully Ellie will be back to run this clown show. And until then, we will see you guys later. This is the Commanders Declassified podcast, and we are out.
Peace.